Back now to the breaking news that we were following of the bus crash in Oakland. These overhead views give us a look at the scene here, and fire officials are now saying the number of injured people has increased from 13 to 14. Those people were hurt after a car hit an AC Transit bus with what appears to be head-on. This all happening near 54th and International Boulevard. Two of the victims are in critical condition.
All right, to get the latest information now, we want to bring in here on the phone tonight Oakland Fire Public Information Officer Michael Hunt. Michael, thank you for taking the time here. Can you give us a sense of where things stand at the scene of this crash right now in terms of triaging all the patients? We're understanding 2 patients are in critical condition. Were those people on board the AC Transit bus?
It was a mix of patients. We had the one vehicle that, from what we can tell right now, was speeding, struck a second vehicle, and then subsequently struck the AC Transit bus head-on.
So then you're saying there are a total of 3 vehicles involved in this accident. Is that right?
That's correct. 3 vehicles were involved, but one vehicle, from what we can tell right now, what witnesses on scene have told us is that there was one main vehicle involved that struck a second vehicle, and then struck the same speeding vehicle struck the AC Transit bus, which was heading westbound head on. And so we have a mix of patients from each of the 3 vehicles. And I don't have the breakdown on which ones,
Sure.
the number of patients from each vehicle, but right now we know that at least 2 persons were critically injured, likely from the main vehicle and then from a second vehicle as well.
All right, Michael, can you talk a little bit about some of the injuries that the Oakland firefighters at the scene here are treating?
The most critically injured patients were already transported. We had approximately 5 to 7 ambulances arrive on scene, and it was a range. I can't get into too much detail right now on the severity of those, other than to say that 2 were critically injured, and then 11 to 12 patients suffered minor injuries, and my understanding is most of those were from the bus.
Can you talk about the scene now in terms of the streets that are shut down? At this point, I would assume that traffic is being diverted and people are being asked to stay away. Can you give us a breakdown of the scope of how far back people are being asked to stay?
Several blocks in each direction. So this happened, as you said, around 54th International. So traffic is blocked from about 50th to 60th right now. So we're encouraging all vehicle traffic to avoid the area. The AC Transit bus is still on scene, and that will be presumably towed away soon. But we're also, I presume law enforcement is going to conduct an investigation into the actual cause of this and who may be held responsible. So that's about as much as I can say right now.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you had any more information on kind of how this collision played out. You referenced that one car that was likely speeding. Does it appear at this point as though the driver of that car caused this collision with the bus?
I think time will tell. Some surveillance footage and witness testimony will likely come forward. But from what we've heard from our people on the ground, and some of the witnesses they've spoken with, is that one car appears to have been speeding, moving at a high rate of speed, and then impacted a second car, and then somehow was propelled into the bus. It's unclear how exactly, but hit the bus head on.
Michael, I do have
traveling eastbound on International.
Just 1 or 2 more questions here before I let you go. One of them being, do you know any information about how many people were on board the AC Transit bus? Do we know, obviously it's happening during commute hour as people are heading home on a Friday. Do we know if it was a full bus or not? And are these victims being transported to different hospitals, or are they all going nearby to Highland?
To answer your first question, I'm not sure how many passengers were on the bus at the time. And as for the second question, this is considered a mass casualty incident. So dispatchers in the area are notified, and all hospitals are likely told to stand by as ambulance from Falk and other nearby agencies are able to get to the scene. As you said, we had 5 to 7 ambulance responding. And so likely some of the more severe patients probably were going to Highland because that's one of the closer hospitals able to handle some of these traumatic events. But as far as some of the more minor injuries, they will likely be fanned out to other hospitals and care facilities.
And Michael, the last question here for you. Do you have any sense of the age range of the victims here? Any children involved in this crash?
Not that I know of, but that I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'll be happy to update you later on, but
Of
I
course.
don't have that information right now.
Yeah, we know it's very early on here. We really appreciate you jumping on the phone here to give us the latest information. Public Information Officer with the Oakland Fire Department, Michael Hunt, joining us live here again on that breaking news. 14 people injured in an AC Transit bus crash, 2 of them with critical injuries. So we'll keep following that story, of course, throughout the night.
We'll be back right after the break.